Good morning, my loves. Happy Thursday. 5 a.m. at the lake. The sun is contemplating rising. We are discussing growth, changes, and transitions. Great topic. I will try to keep it relatively short, but I've got a lot to say, so please bear with me. We all deal with growth, changes, and transitions from the time we're born to the time we transition into death. So let's talk about how to do it gracefully and people that help us and hinder us. I mean, technically, you transition into birth. Any nurse will tell you that. And it's a cold, harsh reality popping from mommy into the cold, hard world. But it's something we all do. You transition, you grow, you change from a toddler to you start to walk. You start eating solid foods, you start preschool. And throughout all of these changes, you have people around you that will either lift you up and encourage you and nurture you, or they will sabotage your path. Even for babies, they will tell babies they're stupid, they're ugly, they're worthless, they're dumb, they're incompetent, they're not gonna amount to anything. We've all seen it. I hope none of you have said that to anyone, but it makes a difference because you're planting a seed. Seeds grow. No matter how tiny that little brain is, they hear it. That seed is planted, it will grow. And the more you nurture whatever you're saying, the more it's going to grow. The more you water a seed, the more it grows. So with a baby, you're telling them, you're doing such a good job. I am so proud of you. Take another step. Or let's try the strained carrots. Or, let's try and look at, let's try and read this book. Whether they can read or not, you let them try and think they're reading. It's what we do. When your child is taking piano lessons, it's painful for all of us, but you encourage them. You tell them you're doing so much better than you were yesterday. Oh my gosh. They may not have been, but you encourage them and you nurture them. You're watering those seeds. And if you're telling them, why don't you just stop? I don't want to hear this. You're not going to amount to anything anyway. You're wasting my money. Whatever you say, don't do that when somebody's taking lessons or trying to learn a new skill, because you're watering seeds of failure and doubt. Don't do that. So throughout life, we're going through the transition and the changes. You transition from an adolescent, you go through puberty, huge transition, emotional, hormonal transition, full of attitudes and pimples and tears and body changes. It's just something we all go through. Nurture people through this. My granddaughter's 13. And, lots of transitions. And I was talking to my son the other day, and yeah, he already misses, the little girl, and she's not a little girl anymore. She's a young woman, and she's, very into sports and her friends and all the normal things. And yeah, it's hard. And, he said now he understood how I felt. Yeah, but it's part of life. And he and my daughter-in-law are amazing parents. They are doing such a phenomenal job. It's not gonna be that bad. It's gonna be a transition for everybody, but they're doing a great job. You transition from school to university to college. Big transition, big step. And again, people are either going to encourage you or tear you down. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know you can do this. You have to want it. You have to be hungry for it and do it. No matter what, you have to do it because you're worthy. Now, you go out into the job force. Maybe you're up for a promotion. That's exciting. Been there, done that. Okay. There are people that are in your realm, in your circle, that are going to lift you up and say, you will be the best charge nurse. You will be the best manager. You're going to be the best supervisor, the best lead, whatever. They're going to lift you up and encourage you and support you through this. especially if you get the promotion. However, there are people that are going to sabotage your path. They're jealous, they're envious. Maybe they wanted the job and they're not cut out for it. You are. It's part of life. Deal with it, you know? Be ready for it. You have to believe in yourself to overcome all of this. And the people that are nurturing you and encouraging you, thank them. Never stop. And now, how do I want to put this? Never stop remembering where you come from. Whether that's where you grew up or where you worked a month ago before you got promoted, always keep that in mind. They're your people. Never forget that. And then through life, things happen. And this is going to take a bit of a different trajectory. Things happen. Car accidents happen. Cancer happens. Maybe you're in the military and you go to war. That happens. Maybe you're a victim of a crime. That happens. We're talking victims. It's happened to a lot of us. I was a victim of domestic violence. I was a victim of breast cancer. A lot of things have happened. But I chose early on to transition from victim to survivor. It's a mindset. It's totally a mindset. When something happens, yes, you are a victim. Absolutely. And I want you to sit with that. And I want you to understand that. When it happens to you, sit with it, understand it. If you have any responsibility in that happening, if you were in a car accident and you're at fault, you're partially at fault, accept responsibility for that. Accept responsibility for maybe you were under the influence, driving under the influence, you're driving too fast, whatever. Accept responsibility. If you have cancer, maybe you were a smoker, accept responsibility. You may have put yourself, contributed to this. I had breast cancer. I don't think I really contributed to that. Not that I'm aware of. I was never a smoker or anything, but you have to accept responsibility. What really upsets me, and I work with a lot of veterans. I love my veterans and my law enforcement and my active duty military and their families, is they will be injured in the line of duty, including police officers, injured in the line of duty. And people will say, well, that's what they signed up for. That's their job. No, honey. They signed up to serve, to defend and protect. They did not sign up to lose a limb. They did not sign up to have an IED blow up in their face. They didn't sign up for that. Be careful with your words. Be careful what you say to people. Because again, those seeds are planted. When you're told you have cancer, many people will be very nurturing and very supportive. I'm getting ready to sneeze. Sorry, thought I was going to sneeze. Many people will be very nurturing and supportive. And there again, some people won't. Be ready for that. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in your medical team. Let your friends and family lift you up to get you through this. If you're in a car accident, go to PT, go to rehab, whatever it takes to get back on your feet because you're worthy. Don't let everybody drag you down and keep reminding you that it was your fault. Never would have happened if, well, it happened. And I have seen that happen with law enforcement and military, that they were injured in the line of duty. And people will say, well, it's their own damn fault. Well, no, it isn't. And what really just a burr under my blanket is victims of domestic violence, family violence, and rape. People will say they were asking for it. Honey, nobody asks to be beaten. Nobody asked to be thrown down a flight of stairs. I didn't. Nobody asks to be raped. Nobody invites that. I don't care what you're doing. You have the right to being safe, especially in your own home. Now, in my situation, my ex was a violent individual. He had a drug problem. And it was not pleasant. And the least little thing would throw him off. And one day, something triggered him. And I was walking past the stairs. And the next thing I know, I was at the bottom of the stairs with injuries. It happens. I did not invite it. I did not ask for it. It happened. What is important whenever you are in a victim scenario? Sit with it, understand it, feel whatever you're feeling. If you need to get counseling for this, please do. It's not a sign of weakness, but understand the big picture of the situation. And then I want you to decide you are no longer a victim. Now you're a survivor. It is a mindset, and it is a big change. It is a big transition, and you are worthy. It's taking control. It's empowerment. It's going from victim to survivor. It's huge. And once you go from victim to survivor, there's one more step, and that's going from victim to survivor to warrior. Survivor is getting through, going through the rehab, going through the surgeries, going through whatever needs to be done to get you to the other side. Warrior is when you take your story, what you have gone through, and you share that with others to light their path. People that are on a similar path to yours, you share your experience so that they can grow from it, so that they can learn from your wisdom, from your experience. That's what we do. Victim to survivor to warrior. And that's so important. That is one of the most important decisions you will ever make. When I was told I had breast cancer, I went to my car and I cried. And I cried and I cried and I cried. And then I saw someone that I had been sitting with in the waiting room, and they came out in tears. And I knew, I'm getting through this, and I'm helping other victims. I'm helping other families. And I did. On the other end of that, I made it through the surgeries and the treatment and all of that. And I started sharing my story to help others. And look where I am today. An old lady with a lot of opinions. But I help a lot of folks. The last transition is aging. And it's hard. I deal with a lot of families. And you have people that have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. They don't want to put them in a facility, but maybe they're not capable of caring for them anymore. That's a hard transition, especially if it's a dementia case. And, you know, it's just heartbreaking. I know in my family, my dad was very clear of mind, but it was the end of his life, and he didn't have a choice. I lived 4 hours away, and he had to spend his last days, and it was literally not even 24 hours, in a nursing home. Broke my heart. I had promised my mom Daddy would never go to a nursing home. It was not out of my choice. And I remember talking to Daddy about it before he went over, and he said, Brenda, it's fine. I said, but I promised. He said, well, this is my call. It's not yours. I'll take that off you. This is what I want to do. He did that for me. And he wasn't even in a nursing home 24 hours when he passed. I was right there with him. And it was a beautiful transition for him. He had been watching golf. What more could you ask for? He wanted some ice cream, which we made sure he got his ice cream. And he asked for his shoes. I was sitting with him at the time. And he said, Brent, did you put my shoes on me? And I knew. I mean, I've been a nurse. I was a surgical intensive care nurse for years. I know what that means. He said, you bet, Daddy. I put his shoes on him. And I said, you going somewhere? I knew. And he smiled and he said, yeah, got me a date. And then he said, go get the nurse. I'm tearing up. I'm sorry. And he said, go get the nurse for me. And I stepped out. And we had family, a lot of family was there. And I said, don't go in. He just wants the nurse. I went to the nursing station and got the charge nurse, told her exactly what happened. She knew. She and another nurse went in. I waited outside. They opened the door and said, Brenda, we need you to come in. Okay. They had moved him from his recliner to a wheelchair. He took my hand. Sorry. And they said, we would like you to declare time of death. And I held him. And I prayed for him. And he passed. And I declared time of death. Huge honor. Beautiful transition. But it's our final transition. I want you to encourage your loved ones when they're passing, to be there for them. I deal with a lot of families and a lot of cancer patients that are terminal. I lost a couple of patients just the last weekend that were terminal. Be there for them, nurture them. Their passing is not about you, it's about them. It's their wishes. It's the last decisions they get to make. Lift them up, be with them, encourage them, love them. No fighting, no arguing, no bickering. Love them through the transition. Because it's the final step to the journey. It's the last transition. So, I know this is running long, but it's important. From beginning to end, from the first steps, when a baby's born till we transition to death, nurture people, love them, plant seeds of love and compassion and caring. Don't tear them down. Don't sabotage, because there is karma. I truly believe that. And we are all worthy of love and dignity and respect from beginning to end.